have the call around 60 minutes. We'll get to some extra questions and have time, hopefully, to bring people up on stage. If you have any questions, if you do have a question, but maybe you don't want to speak, you could just drop it in there. There's also a chat channel in the discussion that we're in now on the right side. So if I don't see your hand again, like Z, just ping me or do something. And if you're raising your hand, we'll try to get you up here when the time is right. But Athens, you can put your hand down. We're going to save that towards the last third of the call.
Okay, yeah, I think we got everything recording now. Yeah, just as Helios just said, yeah, we're going to run through some of the pre-picked questions that we've already seen in the different chats across Reddit and across Discord. And yeah, then we'll try to get to some of the extra questions. We'll try to bring some people up on stage. We'll try to wrap this up in about 60 minutes. If it goes a little bit over, not a big deal. But yeah, let's see where this goes. Hopefully we can share lots of information, answer lots of questions, and yeah, share some exciting stuff. Yeah, just wanted to say a quick thanks everybody for coming out. Got a good audience already here already. Yeah, it's always we really appreciate it when people take time out of their day to come join us. So yeah, really appreciate everybody. Up on stage, we've got Helios, who's like our all-star moderator. We've got Magic. For those that don't know, Magic is actually the VP of product and operations here at Loopring. So he's been a huge asset and just really helping push things along. And then everybody knows myself and Blank. I might refer to Blank as Chris sometimes. That's his alter ego. Yeah, let's get started. Helios, do you want to start running through some questions?
Yeah, so first one we had come up, and thanks for everybody for dropping some questions in there, is the team expanding or shrinking? Who's on the core team now, and will it change? There was some posts in Reddit about Winda. Loved Winda from the Reddit era. Everybody's watching her GitHub pulls, and we saw also Adam a few months ago. So I wanted to know if the team could just speak on that, like who is in the team, what's happening with the size of it, and if you can get into some details for us.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I'll run through that real quick, and then if Magic or Chris or if anyone wants to jump in and expand upon this, feel free to hop on. But yeah, it's true we have had some departures on the Loopring team in the past months. Adam, who is the head of growth, and then Winda, of course, who everybody knows. We've also, however, had like a bunch of part-time developers and others who have stepped up and been promoted and now moved into more full-time roles. So like just to clarify, like Winda and Adam were both amazing parts of the company and they're going to be sadly missed, but Winda's role and Adam's role have actually already been filled. Winda's role has been filled with some other guys that you'll see. Maybe Magic can expand upon that, but yeah, there's already some. I believe it's Dre Day who's working on the web app side, and then Adam's role has been filled through myself, Chris, and Magic, who are all stepping up to kind of fill their growth role for now. For those that don't know, I kind of spoke about it at the beginning here, but Magic is relatively new, but he's been a huge asset to the Loopring team here. He's the VP of product and operations and has a ton of experience. He's been a senior VP and VP at other like big growing companies around China, like Cheech Mobile, Marvel, and a bunch of others. He's managed multiple apps in the past with over 50 million daily active users, and he's now been bringing his expertise to growing the Loopring team. So yeah, we're like our core team is right now around 20, which is about the same level as it was a year ago. So we're not growing, we're not shrinking, just because we've been kind of staying pretty tame and lean during the bear market. But yeah, we're very, very confident with the team that we have. It's full of talent. It's full of very capable people that are able to grow this Loopring team over the next few years. And that's not to say that we're not going to hire more in the future, just given the current state of the market. And now is maybe not the best time to be hiring, but we're definitely open to be hiring more in the future. If anyone has anything else to expand upon that, feel free to jump in.
Magic, do you have anything to add?
Yes, thanks, Byron. Here's. So basically, I think our team is continue growing up in some of the areas. For example, these days we are doing some of the React for the React Native. So we are able to speed up of development on different platforms. So by this means we are going to acquire more talents in this area. Also, we are doing some React from the previous Scala to the Go. So we can expand, I think, our different areas in a more rapid speed. That means we also try to hire some of the people with Go expertise. So I think we will continue growing the team. Yeah, try to expand to the areas we want to invest. Yeah, some people may left, but some new people will join.
Magic, I wanted to clarify, Nada said, how many of the team is actually developers, like writing code, and is that the majority, or is there some doing not development?
I think the majority is still developing the code.
Got it.
Yeah,
all right.
As with any team, people come, people go, but we're always moving forward. And like Magic said, we're becoming even more efficient. In the past, our Android app and our iOS app have been having to develop on two separate teams. We are, like you said, looking to implement React Native, and that's going to help speed up our development. We can work on both apps at the same time with a more lean team. So even better.
Beautiful. Let's get on to the next question. If anybody has a volume, if anybody sounds low, you can right click on the person's icon and increase their volume. I sent a little screenshot in the chat. So, next question, and this has come up also recently in some Reddit posts and discussions, more discussions in the server. Is Loopring open to eventually complying with the L2 beat standards regarding security councils, exit windows? We have our super community member, Frank, is always very vocal about this. I think it's a big topic in all of the layer twos about the multi-sig, about how soon an upgrade can happen if we have the window to be able to get in and out of it and such. So this question is coming up again. What is Loopring's stance on L2 beat, the standards that are coming around upgradability in a roll up and exiting, and are we going to get to the level like we saw D-Gate, who forked Loopring, and they're like full upgrades, full versions, no upgrading, we just move to a new version. Where does Loopring stand on that spectrum?
Yeah, short answer is yes. Of course, we're always working to improve our standards, and we've spoken to the L2B team in the past about what we need to improve our ratings there. We are also working on a security council, as we've talked about in the past, for more serious bug fixes, where the update needs to happen fast and perhaps information around the code cannot be released publicly before the fix, as to not expose users. So that's the purpose of the security council. For anyone that's not aware, basically how the security council works is they act as community advocates, so that we can share information, more discrete information that maybe we can't release publicly, like if there's a major bug, and we disclose it with them, and then they can advocate for it and let the community know, hey, yeah, it's safe to upgrade. So basically, yeah, that's going to happen for any short-term bug fixes that are need to happen. But as far as regular upgrades go, we're definitely open to extending them to 30 days if that's the ongoing standard. But yeah, number one priority for us has always been user security. So we'll continue to prioritize that. And we'll work with L2B team to update our standards to make sure that we can upgrade our ratings there. We're also like always talking with other teams in the space to make sure that we're sharing best practices and we can stay at the forefront of where the space is going. So as you can see, like it's not just Loopring that's lagging behind. It's like as far as those ratings go, like everybody is, and I think that's because like in the beginning, like we're still so early. There's a lot of upgrades that need to happen, and there has to be a way to like upgrade these in a way that like doesn't kind of slow down the progress of the project. I think in the beginning of most projects, it's gonna be more training wheels, and then over time, this is gonna, once everything is kind of in place, it's gonna the training wheels are gonna come off, like Vitalik's talked about. So yeah, we're all working towards that same end goal. I think we're getting closer and closer all the time. If that helps answer that.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting topic because even we saw Scroll, ZK EVM launch, and they're like same level or lower, they're having similar problems. And it's a little bit in the way that L2B presents the information, which there's nothing wrong with it. It's like it's the goal, it's the ideal that we're trying to get to. But I was having a discussion in I think ETH Finance or some other Reddit, and they're like, well, Loopring been around for longer, so why hasn't it in time been able to change this standard? And I was like, well, it's not just a time thing. It's not just the more time all the bugs were figured out and everything was figured out. This whole technology of zero knowledge at all hasn't really been used except in mathematical theory before. So, it's something that is like the whole space is kind of developing. So it's good to hear that you're also speaking with other teams and trying to, and hopefully the idea is with that kind of site, the ecosystem of L2s has a standard together where everybody's holding each other accountable in a way.
That's exactly right. Yeah, I think like when you zoom out, like in the grand scheme of things, we're still super, super early. And yeah, I think as a space, we're gonna all kind of move forward in a similar way. As one team progresses, we're gonna share best practices, and then every team is gonna kind of progress in that same way. But I think a lot of these hard details need to be worked out first, and we need to be able to like make those changes a little bit more rapidly. But yeah, like for regular upgrades, like we talked about, like I think it's perfectly reasonable to expect like a 30-day window, so that users can like take a look at everything and make sure that they can read the code or get someone to interpret the code for them. And yeah, we're working to make that happen.
Great. Okay, let's move on to
Yeah, just one thing to comment. I think it's easy to just change the duration, for example, from 7 days to 30 days. But whether it's really good, always good to apply the 30-day. For example, if a protocol they encounter an issue, a fatal issue, and people cannot upgrade the protocol until 30 days, then what will impact? Maybe many users' asset will be impacted because they are not really standby. They don't know what happens here. But then something happened. So I think other than this hard criteria, we need to have something maybe more important to implement. Maybe you have multiple security layer. So once something happens, what you can able to secure users' assets, whether it's the other method. Yeah, even if people they cannot withdraw the asset, can do something. So I think this is something we need to think about in a more serious way. Yeah, for sure. I think this year we are going to have another update regarding the Loopring protocol. We will try to apply the standard, but we also we will be very careful regarding what kind of the security solution we are able to further think about here to enhance the overall security.
Yeah, exactly. This is a very good point. Yeah, having that additional security layer and knowing the severity of each upgrade. Yeah, and we also need to talk with like L2B more. I know like us and other teams are talking with them about like possibly changing their rating standards also, because yeah, 30 days doesn't always apply to just everything.
thank you, Magic and B. And Blank, if you want to chime in at any point, just let me know. We're going to move on to question 3 again. Thanks everybody for coming out. We've got a lot of people in the crowd. If you have any questions, you can throw them in the chat on the side or in the AMA channel. And in a little bit, probably another 20 or 30 minutes as we get through some questions, we'll invite people up to the stage. So third question we have in the chat is, does Loopring foresee a future, where it can operate as an actual DAO? With token holders being able to create improvement plans. The basically soft release of the DAO was that it was team released improvements. We were voting on different pools to incentivize and such. Is it something, actively or passively phasing out, or the quarterly votes that we saw before with the AMAs, or adding trading pairs, etc.? So kind of what is the status of the DAO? I mean, we know the status is kind of on ice right now, but is it something that is being looked at to revitalize at some point in the future, or we could just going to say hold off for now until we get to another point in the protocol?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, to jump in here, and yeah, just to kind of summarize, there's a lot of questions around like DAO, so we can kind of summarize and answer all of the DAO related stuff and a few other of the other questions all in one here. But yeah, basically that's definitely a future that we want and are actively working towards. It's just not currently being highly prioritized. And it kind of goes back to what we were just previously talking about with like the L2 beat standards, stuff like that. There's a bunch of upgrades and features and just big adjustments that are being made in the Loopring community, like the fact that we're going multi-network and stuff like that. There's a lot of this stuff that we need to implement first. Get the ecosystem to a point where it's highly used and adopted, and then I think at that point that's when you can start shifting it more rapidly towards the DAO, because where the DAO really comes in is maybe not during the hyper growth phase, because that kind of slows everything down, but more when it's starting to be adopted and you want to transfer everything, basically the ownership and the upgradability over to a more decentralized community. At least from my standpoint, and I don't speak to everybody on the team, but that makes the most sense. And I know I've talked to others in the space who agree. But yeah, for anyone that's been following along for a while, you've seen that we implemented the DAO via the snapshot for voting for LRC holders. In the past, we've done more minor things like token pair listings and switching of AMM fee incentives. Like I spoke to, in the future, we do envision this becoming more decentralized over time. It's just not a huge high priority at this moment, but it will be in the future as we get to a better place of the usability and wide adoption. Another part is a key part of this is going to be our multi-network strategy and making both the Loopring Smart Wallet and the Loopring dApps unique and widely used, like I kind of talked about. Once these products are widely available, we can market them more to make them more widely adopted. And once they're more adopted, we can roll out a better tokenomics model that helps align incentives and participation to help fuel even more growth. And at that point, the DAO, like I said, makes a lot more sense. All of this would basically be our end goal. And then to answer kind of the second part of the question about the AMMs and the voting on new tokens. So since the rollout of our new block trade feature and seeing the seed of potential big success with this core feature, it's changed a lot of our thinking and about the AMMs and liquidity fragmentation in general. So one of the biggest challenges for Loopring Layer 2 in the past or for years has been liquidity. I think anyone that's been following along has noticed that. Just getting liquidity through DEX and AMMs, it's not an easy thing to do. It requires a lot of major token incentives, and LRC is a fixed token supply. We don't have huge incentives to offer through an inflation model like other projects have. But we've kind of found a much better solution in my opinion with block trade. So basically, yeah, so basically block trade has kind of changed the game for this like liquidity on Loopring layer 2. Like now we can source liquidity for users from all the best sources direct to layer 2 for potentially like unlimited token pairs in the future. Currently, we're looking at adding more token pairs to the block trade and then using block trade as potentially like a core building block for all future earn products. So like for the upcoming vault with leverage trading and even like potentially option trading and other earn products. And then also for our smart trading capabilities, which we'll talk more on, like grid trading and other cool things like copy trading that we're talking about also, where users will be able to like basically mimic or follow other successful traders and mimic their trades and earn returns that way. That's another cool feature that we're working on. Long story short, we're going to be rolling out like as many unique and smart trading earning features, and we really want to make like block trade the source of this liquidity, and that's going to be like on Loopring layer 2 and potentially on other networks also. If that helps answer that question, like, does that make sense?
I think it opens up another part of the question too, like you mentioned about the DEX, and that has been asked as well. Like, where does the DEX stand in relation to multi-network? So maybe we cap that there, and then I think we'll get back to this in the multi-network discussion. If Magic or Blank, if you had anything to add into this. I mean, the question generally about the DAO though is that, you know, as more stuff is happening in the network, as more activity is happening, as more users are coming in, there's a bigger reason to incorporate that and to, similar to the contract upgrades, you know, migrate into a more decentralized community-run protocol, which has been the goal, which is the goal. It just is taking time, so there's not much realistically to be voting on right now. And I think it's kind of this relating to this repositioning of what are these components inside of the app, what are these components inside of the protocol, and in time that will, you know, help sort out how the DAO works, how can the DAO be effective, and what we can do as community members to, you know, engage with this. So let's move on to, so let's pause that question of the multi-network and the DEX, because I know Nadia brought that up. Like, what does it mean for the DEX being on multiple networks? So let's get back into that in a little bit, like layer 3 basically, and how does that affect liquidity in Loopring DEX? How important is the DEX? And I think next
just
question
to pause
is
for a sec.
yeah.
Sorry, Magic, did you have something to add on there?
Yeah, I think it's a good question. Actually, for the multi-network, I think this strategy we need to think about a different angle. So first, we have multiple products. If we are think about the DEX, so I think DEX itself, actually is a combination of the Loopring protocol and the DEX itself. But what's the real differentiation we can provide on top of the layer 3? Yeah, so I think maybe not the exact functionality of today's Loopring layer 2 we built on top of the Ethereum, but some of the differentiator solutions, like the block trade or vault that support a margin trade, or maybe the dual investment. Only these features that we think is cool enough to differentiate Loopring's offering, like the DeFi protocol we will build on other networks. For example, on Taiko, on Arbitrum, on OP, on Binance. So this is what we define as our protocol smart network strategy. We will try to think about the only differentiator solutions worth importing instead of porting the whole DEX to the other networks as three. Maybe we don't like the way we only focus on to write as a DeFi protocol. But you deposit some Async protocol, you can do some of the very advanced trading utilities. Lend license to you, but only provide some liquidity, not as big as a user. Maybe you won't do that. I think we will try to reinforce the real key differentiation. We build on network as a layer 3 protocol. And the other product actually is a Loopring Smart Wallet. So that's quite different. So actually on Ethereum, because the gas is so expensive, so I think the people will feel reluctant to use Loopring Smart Wallet because it requires several, I think, maybe $50 or even more to deploy the smart wallet first. Then every transaction require heavy gas fee. But that will not be a problem on the other layer 2 networks. Then what's our uniqueness? I think the smartness it should be our differentiation. People may not care about social guardian. They may not care about daily quota. Yeah, but they do care whether you can create some of the money gain opportunity for them. So if I'm able to provide some smart utilities around our smart contract, so you can do a smart trading without you try to manually operate. So I know last year actually is very hot in Telegram. The Telegram bots, people even want to share their private key to the other people, just want to utilize that feature. But what we can do, we can provide similar functionalities, but the people don't need to disclose their private key. We just try to use our smart contract capability to do all these things. So I think that will really unleash the power of a Loopring Smart Wallet. Then we can extend our smart wallet to all the EVM compatible networks. Maybe from at the beginning just Taiko, then tens of even hundreds of networks can be supported. So that will be the real focus of the smart wallet multi-network strategy. That will be built on top of the smart contract capabilities. So that are two huge different products. We need to deal with them quite differently.
Yeah, this is such an important point. So yeah, we're bouncing around a little bit, but yeah, like we're talking about the multi-network strategy now and how we're going to differentiate ourselves. And it's such an important point that like any user can go on Arbitrum, for example, or Optimism and like find a DEX with decent volume or good volume. So like the Loopring DEX having to source its own liquidity maybe is not a big differentiator on another network. Like maybe we're not going to get a lot of user adoption on that. So we are really trying to think about like, hey, what differentiated products can we offer users on every network that like really set us apart and make us like the key one-stop shop. And that's where we're talking about like these smart trading features, which I think are going to be huge because like, yeah, for anyone that hasn't been paying attention, the Telegram bots, like some months ago, I can't remember when it was, but they were just such a big hot thing where people are literally giving up their private keys to these Telegram bots and letting them trade on their behalf, which is just a big security risk. So we're basically trying to do that in a like self-custodial like way where you don't have to give up your private keys or expose your private keys, and you can do it through these smart trading agents through smart contracts, and have like just amazing functionality where you can copy trade, copy other traders, you can do dollar cost averaging, you can do grid trading, you can do just a bunch of different things. So it's going to be super cool. And then yeah, that's going to be something that really sets Loopring apart. And then also just like the different vault experiences that we're going to offer, and then like block trade, which is a pretty unique experience. So like, yeah, I think we have a lot of unique offerings that we can really use to set us apart and make everybody want to use Loopring products.
I wanted to get into a little technical thing around this because is around like, let's say block trading, let's say we are on Arbitrum And is it possible technologically to use block trading except in between layer 2 so that we can source liquidity from different dexes that are on Arbitrum, for example? Like I know GMX is a really big, or is like a pretty decent sized dex over there. Is that also possible that the layer 3 dex of Loopring is also grabbing and using in a smart way or in some contract way liquidity that's in those other networks?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, basically like the big thing about block trade is we can source liquidity from wherever the best liquidity is. Like for now, like on Loopring Layer 2, we're sourcing a lot of liquidity from Binance because that's the top liquidity available. So we want to offer users that top liquidity directly to their Layer 2s without giving up like control of their assets to like a centralized exchange. But it doesn't necessarily need to be a centralized exchange. It could literally be sourced from any point wherever the best liquidity is. So maybe on a different network, it's a different place. Yeah, basically we can serve up that without the user ever having to bridge or go anywhere else or give up their assets, which is super cool.
All right. On that note of, we're gonna, as I said before, get through a few of these and then get into some community questions that we got going on around that idea of the DEX. Whatever happens to it as we move to multi-network, the DAO. We got a question around tokenomics and revenue streams. Wants to know if we can tap into that, and then there are some questions. I got 3 questions marked so far that we'll get to a little bit later. We're at about a half an hour now. So, Blank or Magic or Chris, how do you feel about tokenomics and how that maybe has shifted?
I mean, I hate to do all the talking here, and those guys are definitely able to jump in. But yeah, just to quickly address the tokenomics, because it does kind of tie everything together. Because we're talking about this multi-network strategy now, and then there's been a lot of questions across Reddit and Discord about like, hey, how does that work then? If like if you're going to go as a layer 3, maybe protocol fees are lower. So yeah, we get asked this question a lot, and I definitely check out our last community call blog that we put out because we went into a pretty in-depth answer there already. We discussed like a few different options available, how we could add or kind of supplement the current tokenomics for LRC. So just so everyone's aware, like the current tokenomics are that protocol fees that come in through Loopring Layer 2, they get collected and we share those protocol fees with LRC stakers. And then some of them go to AMMs also. Maybe that changes in the future and it's mainly just stakers, who knows? That's stuff that can be voted on by the DAO currently. But a big piece of this is that, like, as part of our multi-network strategy, we are going to be deploying the protocol as like a layer 3 on other networks, like on Arbitrum. Loopring will be a layer 3, so that means our ZK rollup is coming with us. That means that we can collect protocol fees on every single network that we deploy. So yeah, perhaps like the protocol fees are lower because we're a layer 3, like the protocol fees are less per transaction, but this could be made up through like a rapid increase in users. If there's a lot more users, even with a smaller protocol fee, that could still like be a very good net positive for protocol fees. But then to add to and supplement that, we are working on another model, which is going to be like a profit sharing mechanism. So on the last community call, we talked about how that's a potential model that we're working on. We've talked about it further, and this is very likely going to be the one that we're going to at least want to implement, where it's a profit sharing mechanism where all the products that we're building, like all these smart trading strategies, like grid trading, copy trading, dollar cost averaging, whatever it is, and like earn vaults and dual investment and all that, they're all going to help users earn more money. And so it seems like to be, at least for us, like a big win-win, where users are earning more money, they're earning better profits than they could on other like other products, comparable products from other companies. And if they're earning more money, a percentage of that can go back like a protocol fee to be shared with like LRC stakers, or we could do a buy and burn mechanism. All that stuff can be worked out. But basically, like, we first need to get these products out there, get the usability up. Once we have that, we can switch this or supplement with this better tokenomics model where we can like do profit sharing on all these earning products and help drive even more back to LRC holders through protocol fees and this new profit sharing. So yeah, there's a lot we can do here, and we'll keep you, like everybody in the community, updated on what's going on. But basically the first step is just like rolling out this multi-network.
Great. All right, let's step a little forward here into these two questions, and then we do got some in the chat that I want to get to. I want to put some time around whatever hour 45, so in maybe 10 minutes we'll get to some community calls, have some people come up on stage. But first, the everlasting question of when marketing, how is that going to be conducted over multi-network rollout, updates on Taiko, the Taiko AD, I don't want to say the word, and what that means, if you could maybe touch on that. And then I think we should touch a little bit on EIP 4844, which is a big update for the rollups about data availability. How does Loopring, affected by that? What do they have to do to be involved with that? And then we can switch over to some more community questions.
For sure. Okay, well, I'll let Magic get to the EIP 4844 one. I'll quickly speak to the marketing and some Taiko updates. So yeah, basically as far as like conducting marketing activities, all the questions around when marketing, all that sort of stuff. First, I would like, just as a primer, I would suggest reading the Loopring repositioning blog that we put out. We laid it out like pretty clearly on there. But just to give like an update, like we've started doing a little bit of podcasts. We've got more lined up for the future. We're starting to roll out more community engagement calls like this on Discord. We've got more planned for this as well, like a possible like gaming call in the future here too. We're just trying to line stuff up with gaming partners. But as far as like paid marketing strategies that we've outlined in that blog already, they haven't been happening as of now, as everybody knows, but it's mainly just because of timing. At least for me, it makes much more sense to do paid marketing after we've like rolled out this multi-network strategy and we're much, much more accessible for users. Like right now, if we roll out a paid marketing campaign, it's going to be very expensive as far as like a customer acquisition cost goes. After we roll out the multi-network and the Loopring Smart Wallet and the DApp is available on any network, and the wallet is like cheaper to deploy, the cost to acquire a new customer comes down substantially. So then for me, at least, this makes a lot more sense to start putting money into these paid marketing strategies, like targeted ads on social networks, sponsoring podcasts, YouTube channels, etc. Like, just to give you like a rough example, like right now, if it costs us $100 to $200 to acquire one new customer or one new user through these channels, paid marketing channels, the value that we get from that user, say, is maybe $10 to $20 a year in fees. It doesn't make much sense to throw a bunch of money at that. Again, it's just a very rough example. But like, for example, after multi-network, it costs us maybe $10 to $20 now to acquire a new user, and we can collect protocol fees plus profit sharing fees that are far beyond this $10 to $20 that it costs to acquire that new user. Then it makes a lot of sense to dump money into this and just acquire as many users as possible. So just so everybody knows like where the thinking is at about that, you need to get the customer acquisition cost down to a point where it actually makes sense to dump money on it because you're getting more value back. So yeah, anyways, there's also like some other cool new token incentive ideas that we're talking about behind the scenes. So there's a lot that we can do here. It's just a matter of timing. We've got the capability to do it. It's just the timing and the math needs to make sense, if that makes sense to everybody. And then as far as like Taiko updates, Taiko airdrop. So obviously we can't speak on behalf of Taiko, but Daniel and the Taiko team, like Brecht and everybody, have been pretty vocal in the past about like Loopring is going to be a beneficiary in some way if and when there is a Taiko token airdrop. I think the team's been pretty vocal about that there's going to be a Taiko token. They haven't spoke to the Taiko token airdrop or anything like that yet. So I believe this will be the case, and Loopring like ecosystem participants are going to be rewarded. but we need to wait for Taiko to make any official announcements around this. So a little bit more patience, because it does look like their mainnet is coming soon. If A6 is the A6 testnet is successful, it looks like mainnet's coming shortly after. So just a little bit more patience on this. But yeah, in the meantime, like make sure you participate in all of our joint Loopring Taiko activities. Get involved in the community and the ecosystem. Keep an eye on the utility browser and the new Taiko wallet. Like maybe you've noticed, like Blank put out a post about it. Like .taiko names has now been fully integrated. We're going to be putting out a integration announcement with the team over there. We've been working with them. It's been a pleasure. And like now you can now claim .taiko names directly through your Loopring Smart Wallet. So yeah, keep an eye on that utility browser and just keep participating in these activities.
Yeah, I'll just piggyback with that a little bit, because I saw Alex's message in chat. Yeah, so Alex, we are looking to do a Galaxy campaign with Taiko. Honestly, like we could do one today, right? And it could be as simple as some of the other ones that you've seen out there, like the BitGet one. Not trying to call them out or anything, but it's basically like create a wallet and that was it. We're just trying to give you guys something a little bit more substantial, get a little bit more user engagement. So that massive community that Taiko has attributed and gained over the last year or so because of its Galaxy campaigns, some of those users, or a lot of those users, might not even know too much about Loopring. We want to bring them over and like show them some value add, rather than just creating another wallet that they're probably going to delete after that task or campaign is over. So it's not that we're not willing to do it, or we don't want to do it, or the teams aren't interested. We're very interested, and we're talking like daily. It's just kind of getting more dApps integrated and getting more features rolled out. So it hits a little bit harder than just creating another wallet for these guys.
Exactly. We want to make those users stick. Like we want the users to come and be sticky.
Solid. Magic, did you want to speak a little bit about EIP 4844 and the
Yeah.
Dankun upgrade and what to expect from that?
Yeah, sure. So I think this is a good question. So actually, we have done some very thorough analysis regarding the potential advantage of incorporating this EIP. But we found actually it may not as impressive as we imagined earlier. So I'll give the result first. I think our final analysis reveals at most maybe just save up to 1/3 of the total expense. So it's not that impressive. It's very crucial to note Loopring's implementation is they're different. For example, like deposit, withdraw, and AM join, AM exit, such kind of operations, actually they are heavy layer 1 interaction. Even for the trade and swap, there will also be some layer 1 interactions other than the core data. So we have done some analysis. We try to collect existing block number submitted from Loopring to Ethereum. We intentionally select the block without any deposit withdrawal AM operations, make it more favor the core data benefit. But we figure out only in those blocks, even in those blocks, it's still only 1/3 of the gas used for the core data, which means even I can reduce the core data gas from today's consumption data to 0. I can only get average 1/3 of the gas benefit. So I think by doing such an analysis, we really need to think about the balance. Yeah, you need to understand it's not a trivial effort to incorporate this EIP standard. That's really require Loopring to spend a huge effort to just incorporate this EIP to get about maybe less than 30% again. So I think our current decisions, we will wait. We'll see how the other layer 2 will benefit from the final EIP implementation. And also, Loopring, we can be built on top of layer 2. For example, if I build on top of the Arbitrum or Taiko, they can benefit much from this EIP. We may also get benefits. And the final note is actually Loopring is not a general purpose EVM, which means actually our most differentiator offering may not just be the very cheap gas. We should try to provide some of unique features, which we can really attract the users. Let's think about why people they want to spend a lot of service fee when they try to use the Telegram bot, because the Telegram bot can help them to earn money. Then they want to spend extra service fee. They don't care about the gas fee. Think about Loopring. Even if I can reduce the transfer or swap gas fee to very small, maybe several cents, even much less. But does it really differentiate Loopring from Arbitrum? No, it does not, because we are not a general purpose EVM compatible network. So I think the most selling features for Loopring is we need to provide other service. People would like to pay for those services. For example, if people they can try to really trade the big amount of the asset with the best liquidity, I think they don't care about the gas. They care about the price impact. They care about the potential slippage. If we are able to just provide the best service around these areas, that is our real selling point. So I think by considering all of this, so we will wait to see how this EIP will impact the other layer 2s. Then we decide whether we need to integrate or not. But based on current data analysis, we think just at most 1/3 gas consumption is not worth with spending so much effort to do the integration.
Thank you, Magic. I'm going to, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, just to add on to that. So like basically the biggest benefits that I think we're going to see from EIP like 444 is that like other layer 2s, the general purpose ones, are going to integrate that. Like I believe Taiko is going to integrate that, and then they're going to get some benefits from that, and then us building a layer 3 on top of that will be able to kind of compound and get like those benefits without having to deploy that framework ourselves. And then like Magic said, like I think our costs are going to be so low at that point that like or even like trivial anyway, that like users aren't going to care about that as much. That like if we're providing the best liquidity through block trade with the lowest amount of slippage, like you're going to get the best end price through that method regardless of the gas. And people aren't going to be paying attention to the gas. They're going to be paying attention to like what kind of liquidity they can get with the minimum amount of slippage for every single like transaction. So we're always looking to just provide the best user experience at the lowest cost possible. And if there is if our analysis kind of proves that that's possible through Loopring Layer 2, then we'll implement it. But we're kind of wait and see right now.
Great. So I'm going to open up the stage for people to raise their hand in a second, and we're going to get to some questions that have been in the chat flagged with a little ticket button. So if you do come up, have your question ready and be kind of express about it. The first question is from Instinct, speaking about smart agents. It was mentioned, but a fairly broad category, and a lot of different teams are approaching it differently. So what, in brief, what does it mean exactly? Smart agents, does it have to do with these bot trading systems? And about the vaults, like what is the relationship between smart agents, between vaults? Are these different things? Are these separate things? And now, as I said, I'm going to allow people to raise their hand to come up.
Okay. Thanks. I think for this question, so basically, smart trader is different than vault. The vault feature, actually, we are talking about is regarding the margin trader. We will try to allow users to trade with I think maybe some liquidity from the central SEX, yeah, and allow them to trade in a virtual concept. For example, even though you don't have this token in Loopring Layer 2, you are able to trade. So this feature actually is built on top of Loopring's Layer 2 protocol. And regarding the trade agent, this is the feature inside the smart contract. So in other ways, you can think it's a Layer 1 functionality. If I try to deploy Loopring Smart Wallet on Taiko, then it's a Taiko's native wallet capability. So I see some of the other protocol, many people try to explore the functionality of the smart contract. Some people try to use it to do some of the, for example, try to help people to move your position between different lending protocol. This is one kind of usage. For us, current focus is try to help people to do the trade-related strategy. For example, can I do the grid trade? Can I do the DCA trade? Can I try to do some of the other strategies based on different trigger conditions using my wallet? The answer is yes. Some features you can see today in SEX, we'll try to implement in a non-custodial way. And also, this smart trader will really be our focus this year. Actually, if you look at our smart wallet, in the last year or even earlier, we focused on integrating the features on Loopring Layer 2. We haven't put much focus on Layer 1. But Smart Agent is different. This feature is built really inside the Smart Wallet. That will really show the difference of Loopring Smart Wallet.
Yeah, I mean, just to expand on that, like it's such a big deal. Like these smart trade agents, basically to kind of piggyback on what Magic was saying, like they're built into your smart contract wallet, like using the smart contract, and like it can be done on Ethereum Layer 1. It could be done on Taiko Layer 2. It can be done on Arbitrum Layer 2, like wherever the smart wallet is deployed, basically, and the smart contract is deployed. You can use these smart trade agents to like mimic all these trading activities that other people are doing without having to give up control of your funds or like deposit your funds into a vault or anything like that. So it basically, like, for example, if you wanted to, if the smart contract was deployed on Arbitrum Layer 2 and we have this smart trading capability on Arbitrum within the Loopring Smart Wallet, and you wanted to perhaps like buy Ethereum, stake your Ethereum, deposit your staked ETH somewhere to earn some yield on it, and then you earn that ETH yield and you want to use that ETH to buy more smart staked ETH, like you can kind of automate all that functionality without having to deposit your money to a vault. You use your own smart contract and these trade agents that execute all these trades on your behalf without having to give up control of your funds, which is super, super cool. And then you can apply that to anything. You can apply that to grid trading, to copy trading, to implement like this more social construct and like social capabilities within the smart wallet, to dollar cost averaging, to just a bunch of different stuff, which is super cool. And then in the vault experience, which is different to what Magic said, you're going to be able to like basically switch accounts, and you have this margin leverage account. And then even if you're not holding Bitcoin or like different tokens that are on sexes that you can't normally trade on Ethereum, like Doge or XRP or Avalanche or Solana or whatever it is, even if you're not holding those tokens within your Loopring Smart Wallet, you can still go long and short on those within this vault environment. So that's completely separate from the trade agents. But these are two big focuses for us that are, I think, going to be big game changers for Loopring.
Thank you, Byron and Magic. Z, we got you up on stage if you wanted to ask your questions, and then I got some more in the chat.
Okay, thank you. I would just to make a suggestion that if we will go multi-network, okay, how about we make use the advantage of Loopring going multi-network to absorb the unique feature of each network to be in use in Loopring Wallet. So, I mean, like every protocol has its own strength, its unique features that is not elsewhere. So if we can make use of that, and if we can use it in Loopring Wallet, that will be a huge advantage for us. Is it possible?
Not only is it possible, no, I like where your head's at, Z. That's exactly what we're thinking about. So when we're talking about our multi-network strategy, basically, when you're on Arbitrum, you should be able to experience all of Arbitrum, all of their native capabilities, all of their native apps, everything through the Loopring Smart Wallet. This is going to be like a main reason why like all users on Arbitrum will want to use the Loopring Smart Wallet, because we're going to do like these direct integrations, just like you're going to start to see on Taiko right now, where we just directly integrated like .taiko names within the utility function of the smart wallet on Taiko. You're going to have an Arbitrum wallet also. You're going to go into the, like on your Arbitrum layer 2 account, you're going to go into the utility section, and you're going to be able to use all the native integration of Arbitrum through the Loopring Smart Wallet. Not only that, but then you're also going to be able to use the smart contract of your Loopring Smart Wallet and be able to execute trades automatically across all of these different DeFi apps. You're going to be able to use these smart trade agents to like customize strategies, do like grid trading on other Arbitrum apps, like a whole bunch of different things that you won't be able to do anywhere else except through the Loopring Smart Wallet. So when I talk about, I think Loopring Smart Wallet has a chance of being the #1 crypto wallet on all of these platforms natively. I think like we have a real shot at that because we've got some really cool functionality coming out that's going to make it truly unique.
Yeah, I can give more comment. So basically, I think the native integration per each network is necessary. For example, on Arbitrum, you may have a different DEX with the best liquidity. Then we need to develop the connector to allow user to use this DEX to do the smart trading. And if there's a famous lending protocol in another network, I also need to develop a light connector to allow user to use our smart agent here to interact with light protocol. So this definitely require customization on each network. This is one thing. The other thing is regarding the native UI integration. If you look at today's Loopring Smart Wallet on layer 2, so you will see the UI is a native UI. It's not let user to access the DApp from the DApp browser. That is not a native integration. But for the native integration, we need to know what's the best protocols on that network. Can we try to aggregate some of the information from those protocols? For example, if I want to provide a land UI, so I may try to aggregate the different the API number, so I can present to user. So user will check, okay, this is something I want to invest. So they can just click the UI natively. Then it will try to help him to subscribe to interact with that DApp. So this is what we call the native integration. So I think we need to do both. First, understand the unique protocols on each network. Second, think about whether we are able to provide a native UI to aggregate all this information to allow users to easily interact with those dApps on each network.
Thank you, Z, for the question. JMS, we're going to get to you in a minute. Nadit has a question from back up here about block trading. Is there any way to monitor block trading volume? Can it be shared regularly, made available to public? There was also a question about fees generated. There was a user a few months ago tried to calculate this on chain. So is there any detail about like how can we monitor this and how can we see the fees? How can we see what's happening in block trade? Is it possible? And what is your take on that?
Yeah, I think today people cannot split this block trade transaction from the other swap transactions. We need to think about if we want to suppose whether we just provide in our Loopring server, or maybe in our Explorer, or maybe we need to make it more public way. So I will discuss with team to see how we can react.
Great. If anybody else wants to raise their hand and come up, ask a question, I know there's more in the chat and I'm kind of backlogged here, but we got JMS. If you wanted to ask something of the team, feel free to do so.
Hey guys, appreciate the call this morning. Just a few comments here. Maybe you can give some color. It seems like Loopring is in a real sweet spot as far as your market cap goes. And you kind of have this meme stock connection from a few years back that people haven't forgotten with the GameStop, et cetera. And the bottom line is we're all in this as an investment. We're thinking 10 times, 100 times return, something like that. But let's not forget why we're on this call and why we're in this. I think just given what I've stated about your market cap, et cetera, I think you could make a case to a Grayscale or a Van Eck to have an ETF for people who aren't so savvy with owning stocks on a Coinbase, et cetera. You're obviously on the cusp of something very big, and again, you're in a sweet spot as far as market cap goes. But how can we get more people involved? How can we do some additional marketing to get investors on board?
Yeah, I mean, as far as ETFs go, like we can't speculate or say too much about like the LRC token price. Like we aren't in control of that or anything like that. But as far as like ETFs go, like we'll definitely pay attention to what's happening right now. I believe it was BlackRock just they filed their ETF for ETH. So I think a lot of that is going to be dependent. Like I believe it got postponed. So a lot of other tokens, I'm sure if ETH opens up and they get an ETF there, then I think that's going to open the floodgates for other tokens getting ETFs also. Our focus, like right now, is like we want to focus on bringing as many users into these decentralized rails as possible. So that's not like a main focus of ours. But of course, if it helps bring more users into the ecosystem, we're open to exploring all possibilities, if that helps answer.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you, JMS and Byron. Got another question from System32 here about what is the plan with the partnership of ZKPool. It was announced a few months ago. We know ZKPool is a dedicated proving company, and we haven't heard too much details about what that means. If maybe you could speak on that a bit. And to a lesser degree, there was a mention, Inwood brought up that in the quarterly report, the DApp, the Loopring DApp, browser DApp, wasn't really touched on. So maybe these two things could get spoken about really quickly, and then we'll keep on moving.
Yeah, for the ZKPool, actually, this company Taiko very closely. I think they try to decentralize the approval for various ZK powered networks. So this is why we get connected with ZKPool, because we are also a ZK roll up here. So we try to work with them to optimize our ZK approval algorithm, try to reduce the cost.
So yeah, the big benefits from that partnership are basically like improving our own ZK rollup, lowering costs for which we can pass along to end users. But then also like with they're closely tied, like Magic said, with Taiko there. So anything that they're doing in the future, like as far as maybe users can delegate Taiko tokens in the future, and delegate and like earn some sort of yield in that way, like we'll work with ZKPool to hopefully directly integrate that to make it easier for Loopring Smart Wallet users and things like that. So yeah, there's going to be lots of benefits that come from that partnership.
Great. We are a little bit past our time, but I think we're going to keep chugging if everybody's down. Z asks, do you still have things to do with GameStop? People need some closure. What's the status on that?
Not too much we can say there. Like whatever information is public right now, that's basically all we can say.
Dig it. Nadia asks again, he wasn't satisfied with the answer about Loopring's going to be a part of it. What does that mean as far as the Taiko token distribution? You also had wrote Byron Looper bracket. And is there any more to say than was discussed that we need more details?
I can't. Yeah, we can't speak on behalf of the Taiko team. If and when there's a Taiko token airdrop, I'm confident that the Loopring ecosystem is going to be a beneficiary. But I believe the details are yet to be disclosed, and those will have to come from the Taiko team.
Great. If anybody wants to raise a hand and come up, then feel free to do so. So another question that I brought up in the AMA is, we saw the multi-network being discussed further last year, like quite some time ago, particularly with Arbitrum before Taiko was really up and running. And we wanted to know what has caused some of the delays, or like what is behind the scenes taking a while. Is it very difficult to integrate? Like, what's the story about how that's happening? And I want to transition that into a discussion around roadmaps. And it was brought up before. I don't recall questions in here, but about, do we have a roadmap? We see some features, and in the quarterly report, it's being brought up of, what's coming down the pipeline, but is there any way to attach some kind of roadmap, like quarterly or yearly or something to that? Also in regards to things that have been delayed, that have been spoken about, but have just been taking a while to kind of be implemented.
Yeah, maybe I'll let Magic speak to the first part there about some of the delays happen with like grid trading, stuff like that, and then I'll speak to the second part about roadmaps.
Yeah, so sorry for the delay. So I know we try to let people to think, we can deliver. Yeah, the delay actually is due to our priority adjustment for the grid trading. So this feature we try to build on top of the Loopring protocol, and we have a problem at the beginning. We need to sign hundreds of signatures just in seconds. At that time, we met a problem. I think this is the reason why we low down the priority. Then we start working on the other key features like the vote, like the account abstraction, the trade agent, etc. But later on, I think we got some help from our community people. I think the Fuji and the Lapludi, those guys really are amazing. They try to help us to optimize the algorithm, so we are able to achieve I think maybe hundreds of signing within seconds. Is doable. So we will be able to start working on the grid trading on the Loopring layer 2. The reason why you just still haven't seen it, because as I mentioned earlier, we try to raise the priority from for the other tasks, and we are going to deliver the vote features, I think this quarter. And this something really take a lot of engineering resource to develop. Also, the Taiko team, I think they are going to have the mainnet launch quite soon. And we also spend a lot of effort to try to develop account abstraction, try to develop trade agent features. And moreover, I think we also have a new React for the multi-network support for the Loopring Smart Wallet. Because our goal is we try to support hundreds of networks in future. That means we need to deal with a big problem: how to manage the owner. Because every smart wallet actually is a dedicated smart contract deployed on every network. Think about if you lost your smartphone, you need to use your social recovery to recover all these wallets. That would be a nightmare. So we need to think about a way how to let people to better manage the owner, how to keep the owner the same across multiple networks. We don't want people to use social recovery. Yeah, which means we need to have some big change in our current debt structure. Yeah, this also spend a lot of effort to work on this part. So actually, in short, we do have a lot of key tasks in pipeline. Once we load down the feature, so and we have some other tasks in parallel, it will be some difficult to deliver it in time. So I really apologize for this delay of the advanced trading. But I think you guys will see we try to develop some of the smart trading capabilities around our smart agent on Taiko soon. Once they launch on mainnet, I think we at least will try to apply certain strategies based on our smart agent, so people will see what it means. Regarding the grid trading on Loopring Layer 2, and we will also try to build this feature on top of the block trader instead of the original DEX. So these days we are still working on some of the redesign. That will take a while. Yes.
Yep,
so
exactly.
yeah, go
Awesome.
ahead, Byron.
Thanks, Matt. Thanks, Magic. Yeah, like he brings up some very good points, and that kind of cycles into like roadmaps and why they are so difficult. First, shout out to Fudgy and Lep. They helped us so much on our signature optimizations to help make all this possible. So those guys are like legends for a reason. Thanks so much. I see Fudgy in the crowd here. I'm sure Lep's here somewhere too. Thanks, guys. Really appreciate all your help on that. But yeah, so that brings up the point. Like roadmaps are difficult because of how much things change. We run into some roadblocks, and then other things get prioritized, and other things get deprioritized. But I definitely understand like the community's point, and perhaps there's a way that we can kind of find some middle ground here and do like some sort of live or evolving roadmap. Maybe we could set up like some sort of a landing page that shows like a live roadmap. Maybe it changes over time and things get prioritized, deprioritized, but at least you can see like what's on the horizon. So yeah, we can take that back, discuss that more with the team, and see what we can figure out.
Thank you very much. Last round of questions. If anybody want to raise their hands or add a question in the chat, we have Athens. Let me bring you up here. But before that, Shmruti had asked, is there any possibility of onboarding more big partners? What's the status of big partners?
Yeah, like we kind of talked about on the last call. So like partners are a touchy subject because anyone that we are working with or speaking about working with, more cases than none, they don't want to talk about that publicly until like there's some sort of integration in place or something like that we can actually talk about. So yeah, partners are a touchy subject, but of course we're always working towards like working with anyone who makes a Loopring ecosystem or Loopring like user experience better. And for certain things that we have to work with partners in, like as far as like anything that touches fiat and stuff like that. So yeah, definitely working towards working with others all the time, especially with our multi-network approach. We're going to be working with a lot of different projects to help make that all happen. So that's about all I can say on that subject right now.
Great. Athens, we got you up on the stage. Do you have a question you'd like to ask?
Hello from Athens, Greece. I am an interdisciplinary artist. Sorry about my English because I'm not speaking enough all the time English.
No, sounds good.
Thank you. Our question is about the adoption, NFT adoption to the real market, and why I'm asking about. We have physical stores, historical physical stores in Athens that are accepting NFT payments. And we try alone about the adoption to the real market. We have the legal rights to make NFT payments. We are 100% legal because we are artwork with achievements in science and arts, physical arts. So we are accepting payments for our coffee, for our burgers, for ceramic lab. We have industry brick. I don't know. I can't find the Greek, the English language word. But we have many physical businesses in our wallet, Loopring Wallet, and we're trying to find how we can help for the adoption in the real market. What we have to do.
Thanks for the question, Athens. I've seen you in the community for many, many years now. I really appreciate your support and for being a part of this ecosystem. And next time I'm out in Greece, in Athens, I definitely want to come visit your stores there and pay for some things using the Loopring wallet. I mean, thank you for being such a trailblazer in this category. It's something I'm super passionate about. Also, is just making crypto usable for the end user, and I think a big part of that is going to be these payment systems. For me, we're almost at the scale now to really make that adoption happen. I think there's a few things that we've been discussing behind the scenes. I've talked with Magic and Steve and everybody about some different ways that we could do payment systems to make it a little bit more feasible. I think Loopring layer 3 on top of Taiko, for example, could be one path that makes these Coinbase has talked about this a few times. Like the way that we're going to make payments happen is once we get the cost down to about less than a penny for every transaction. And just making the user experience frictionless. I think we're almost at that point. But yeah, I envision a future where you go into any store and any user can pay with whatever currency they want. Any store can accept any currency they want, and it should be as easy as scanning a QR code on your smart wallet. We haven't focused too much on that payments use case just yet, but I think that could happen in the future. I think on our end, we need to make the user experience just a little bit more seamless, being able to really use QR codes and make transaction costs very, very tiny, and then use our new account abstraction wallet to make everything seamless as far as what currency is paid with, what currency is accepted. But yeah, I definitely see this future, and it's people like you that are going to help make that adoption happen by introducing it into their stores. And I think it's a chicken and egg problem at the end of the day. Once the infrastructure is in place, you need, if users want to use the system, they need places to be able to go to pay for the things. But in order for people to want to accept it at their business, they're going to want users. So it's a chicken and egg problem, and we just have to figure out the incentives and make it very attractive. But I think we're getting closer all the time. Hope that helps answer your question.
Yes, you are great, guys. Thank you very much for everything. We love you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Athens, for coming up. So we got one final question, and then we're going to wrap up the call. I want to thank everybody for coming out. Everybody who's listening who maybe couldn't have made it and are listening to the recording, thank you for spending that time. And thank you, Magic, Byron, and Blank for being up here with me. Nade asks another great question. He said, "Can you describe the executive leadership team at Loopring?" There were some parts in the call where Brian, you're saying like, "What's your opinion on it?" But how does it work regarding how decisions are made and the strategy across the board? We know Steve Guo is the CEO, but what's the relationship between these top players here?
Yeah, I mean, I'll leave it up to Magic if he wants to describe that, or like maybe we can talk about that on the team and like lay something out. Everything that's recorded here, we're going to release the recording to the community, and then I'm going to make a follow-up blog, and perhaps we can add more details. But yeah, Magic, is there anything you want to touch on there, or should we leave that for the blog after?
Yeah, okay, I can have some brief discussion. So basically, I think the team has a very well communication. Yeah. So for the key message we want to deliver externally, I think we will share the thoughts. Yeah. So I think Steve, yeah, he's aware of all the discussion. Yeah, the key message we want to disclose. For example, today when we want to share people regarding our opinion regarding the EIP 4844 integration, yeah, definitely we will think. Yeah. So we know what we want to do, what we should tell people, and regarding the agent here, what we should share people regarding our vision. What's the difficulties we are facing? Actually, we want to be a transparent team. Yeah, we don't want to try to hide something. Yeah, just even if we are really due to our own problem. Yeah, we don't deliver something. We try to tell people what reason behind why we market network. Yeah, it's some different time for us. Yeah, because something we think about here. Is differentiation is not a guardian. It should not be the guardian. We should focus on the markets. Yeah. So that's why Byron try to have some new post marketing reposition. We have all this thinking internally. Then we are going to officially share the team of visions. So basically, Steve, I actually I think we have very good mutual trust. I know Steve. Yeah, I think about 20 years. We worked together for a long time. Yeah. So we have very good trust with each other. I think we can really have some mutual trust and confidence in Loopring's future. And Byron and Chris and all these guys together, I think we try to form the vision and form our action in the substation. Yeah. And also the technical side, also have some key team members. They have been with us. Yeah, we know each other also for many years. Those people are the key members within Loopring. So we have confidence. Yeah, with all these people together, we will be able to execute in our defined direction without any compromise.
Thanks, Magic. Yeah, just to kind of reiterate there, like, yeah, Steve is the CEO, Magic is the VP of product and operations, and then Chris and I basically run the public side of everything, like on the English speaking side anyway. So yeah, basically this is our kind of main kind of top end core team. We make decision making together, like he talked about, like we Magic, Chris, I, and Steve meet on a regular basis. We're always talking, communicating, and sharing ideas, sharing blogs, and then we go back and forth and like share this information, improve upon it, polish it. And then we have like our core team of developers behind the scenes that are like helping execute a lot of this stuff. And a lot of these core developers have been with us for many years, and everybody's like family here. So like we have a very strong team. And we don't really, at least from my perspective, think too much about titles or roles too much. Like we all kind of work hand in hand together and help each other, and it's a pretty cohesive, like strong team.
Beautiful. Blank, do you have any final thoughts or anything to share as we wrap up the call? And Magic and Byron as well, if you had any final thoughts.
On my end, I just want to echo what Magic and B just kind of laid out in terms of how things kind of operate. And I think part of the key thing that we do too that probably didn't get mentioned, but I think everybody knows it, right, is B and I are talking to you guys daily in DMs and Discord and whatever. So we're absolutely feeding that feedback up. And Magic is also checking the different channels for feedback as well. And he obviously interacts with you guys directly too. So I think I've been in a few roles in my days here. I spent about 14 years in traditional finance, and now this. I'd say it's a pretty unique structure. It has like a startup feel, but it's not a startup company, right? We've been around for a couple of years now, a good amount of time. We know what we're doing. We have a solid roadmap and project plan, and we know how to execute it. But like B had mentioned, we're not super focused on titles. Everybody is able to speak, have their opinion heard and valued. So it's just a really unique place to work, and I think we have a great community here that supports us. So you guys ask some tough questions sometimes, but you should. And I think they're all great and valid questions too. So we appreciate that as well.
Thank you, Blank. I also want to thank Magic Pan and Braxter, who are always in the support channel laying it down. And Magic, even with your position, really being in there and helping. It's super helpful, and it's really cool to see Braxter in the audience. He's here with us, even if he doesn't speak. So we're going to wrap up the call. Magic, did you have any final thoughts, or you feel pretty complete about this? We're running about an hour and a half, which is totally cool because we've gotten some really deep stuff, dug up some good information. Magic and B just want to give you some space if you had any final thoughts.
Yeah, I think it's always good to be connected. I think we'll try to see how we can really deliver in the coming quarter. Yeah. I hope every quarter in the Discord we are able to give you more good news. Yeah, and you will be excited.
Yeah, I've been with Loopring for a long time now, and like things from my perspective just keep getting more and more exciting. I knew coming into this that this is going to be a long road. Like crypto's still in its very early stages, but yeah, like you're starting to see kind of the light at the end of the tunnel. You're starting to see like sparks of like some really solid products that are coming that I think are ready for the mainstream, and I think this is going to be a pretty big adoption cycle over the next like couple of years, and I think we're going to be very well positioned, and yeah, I'm super excited. Like it's super fun to have a community like driven project like this. Like even though like we're not a full DAO yet, we take so much feedback and information from the community, and almost all of it gets implemented over time. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. The community is a big part of this, so thank you for everybody that has come out and always comes out and shares with us feedback and asks tough questions, and all this helps us improve. So yeah, thanks to everybody.
Well, thank you all for joining. Thank you fine gentlemen up on the stage with me. We're going to end the call. The recording should be out soon, as spoken before, and then a write-up as well. So pay attention to that and enjoy the rest of the day wherever you're at.
Take care, everyone. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Yep. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.